I was just trying to get home from work. It was a normal evening shift, and the office was closing up. I'd stayed late, and as usual, I was the last one to leave. The building was a maze of hallways, and I always hated the way the lights flickered and hummed when no one was around. I made my way to the parking garage, a dimly lit cavern beneath the office. The place was deserted. I remember thinking about how the flickering fluorescent lights cast long shadows on the walls, making it seem like there were figures lurking in the corners. I shook it off as paranoia and pressed on. As I approached my car, the lights above went out completely. A blackout. I fumbled for my phone, hoping its flashlight would be enough to guide me, but the screen was completely dead. Great, I thought. Just what I needed. I was about to call for a ride when I heard a faint sound behind me, footsteps echoing off the concrete. I turned, but there was no one there. I tried to stay calm, telling myself it was probably just the building's old systems malfunctioning. But the footsteps grew louder, closer. My heart raced. I decided to leave the garage and find a security guard or someone to help. I stumbled through the darkness, my hands grazing the walls for guidance. The silence was deafening, broken only by the sound of my own breathing and the growing patter of footsteps that seemed to follow me. I picked up my pace, feeling a chill creep up my spine. Suddenly the sound stopped. I turned to see if I could spot anything, but the darkness was absolute. My flashlight, if it had any power left, was useless. Panic set in. I was breathing heavily, feeling claustrophobic and disoriented. The footsteps resumed, but they were faster now, more urgent. I sprinted towards the exit, praying I was heading in the right direction. As I turned a corner, I collided with something solid. It was a pillar. I groped around, and my hand landed on a cold metal door, one I hadn't noticed before. Desperate, I pushed it open and tumbled into a small room. Inside, the darkness was absolute. I could barely make out the shape of a large, heavy door behind me. I backed away, only to feel something shift in the darkness. I was not alone. A soft voice, barely more than a whisper, spoke from the shadows. "You shouldn't be here." Terrified, I backed up against the door and slammed it shut. There was no lock, but the door held. The footsteps ceased abruptly. I listened, my heart pounding, until I finally heard distant voices from the building's security team. I pounded on the door, and moments later I was pulled to safety. Turns out the blackout was caused by a transformer issue, and the security staff had been looking for me. I never found out what those footsteps were, but I couldn't shake the feeling that something was watching me from the darkness. I haven't worked late at the office since. Stay safe out there, folks. Sometimes the dark hides more than just shadows.